everybody, it's Allison. Good to see you. I'm just gonna wait for this thing I'm pretty sure I was live, but now I'm really live. Happy 2024. Oh my God. I meant to, this year I was like, I'm gonna make a video every week and it's gonna be awesome and I'm gonna be so organized, and guess what happened? Yeah, you probably know. You probably did the same thing, or maybe you're super on top of it and you're just trucking along. But I don't know what happened at the beginning of the year. I was in pain and, traveling, and I was not being like, I didn't feel like a lot like myself. But I feel a lot better over the last couple days, and I wonder what changed. I'll go to this part of my brain. Um, so every year for the last couple of years, I've been doing a little exercise just to see what like this one word could create for my year. Last year, I asked for what would it be like to actually choose ease, like ease with my time, ease with my business, ease with my body, and ease with traveling, like ease with everything. And the year ended up becoming something very cool. Why are there so many things to exit out of? Jeez. Okay. Everything grew. It was like so cool. Everything did get easier and there was more space. And then it was like, okay, this is nice and relaxing. And then there were also some things that really like got in there like wrenches, and I chose to expand out and have ease with those. So ease was a great word for me last year. And this year I was like, oh, what would I like to ask for this year? And in the spirits of this group and what I'm really, really, really curious about and asking for is, what would it be like to like have or be acoustical embodiment? What does that even mean? Body, what does it mean for you to be an acoustical body? Me, what's it mean to choose to be acoustical or have acoustical embodiment? And there's lots of stuff I started looking up in the reference materials about that are super interesting. If you haven't checked out the reference materials, there's all this information in Access Consciousness that you can get after you've taken the foundation, like 30 years of really cool, just everything under the sun, cool reading that you can read about. I don't know what a keyframe is. In the reference materials about anything, really. Any subject, there's all these questions and things in there that are like, wow. So I was reading a lot about the acoustical vibration of things. Man, whatever. I think everything's going great. We'll see. But this year I was like, okay, acoustical embodiment. Like, what would it be to be acoustical? And, you think you ask for something and you have to wait a while to get it. I'm like, yeah, maybe that'll show up like in the middle of the year. Who knows? Like, next year I'll probably see what this even meant. Little did I know this was going to start working right away. So be careful what you ask for, or just start to acknowledge like what you're asking for and what is actually showing up through what you're asking for, because it can show up right away. And if you don't acknowledge it, it might feel real weird. And it was feeling really weird. So I was like looking at stuff in the war in Gaza, and I've become obsessed with just like, looking at it and getting information and whatever I can contribute to that energetically from all the way over here and in Israel. And I was like, every time I would read that stuff or look at these like terrible stories online or the right and wrong of everything, my body would start to shut down. And I was like, oh, like literally to the point where I was either gonna throw up or I had to like crawl across the floor into bed and just be sick, or basically just like paralyzed, like unable to move. I was like, all right, okay, what is this? And the acoustical word popped in my head and I was like, oh, okay. So if I were choosing to be acoustical right now, and I'll get into what acoustical is in a minute, what would I be? And I couldn't really get the energy of it, but then I looked over and saw all of my plants. Ta-da! I have plants all in my room and they're like this. The plants just started talking to me and they're like, you just be like this. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just expanded out. I allowed myself to lower my barriers, expand my energy out, relax my body, and just let the plants show me what they were being, which allowed me to see what I actually be too. So your acoustical vibration, your acoustical embodiment, your acoustical vibration is what you actually be when you're not judging, when you're not being electrical, when you're not being like ones and zeros, good and bad, right and wrong, when you're not creating a problem or buying a problem as real and true for you. So it's basically you're being electric or electromagnetic, or you're being not acoustical when you're in the crunch, when you're always looking for a problem, when you're aligning and agreeing that there's a problem. And when you even feel it in your body and you can't move, that must be a problem. That is also, you're not choosing to be the acoustical wavelength you could be choosing to be. When you're around people or in a city, you pick up on other people. Your body's basically like a soundboard for vibrations, for acoustics. There's a symphony going on around you, and sometimes that symphony is way off key, and sometimes the symphony around is beautiful and magical. When you are out in nature, your body and you get to sense what your being actually is, because usually your actual acoustical vibration is more like that of nature. When you get around people, or you hop on Facebook, or you start reading about all the news things, all the terrible things, or you look at your taxes, or your business isn't going well, or the money isn't coming in yet this year, that's when you start to pick up on the other vibrations, the other energies that are not acoustical wavelengths. They are more like ones and zeros, or they're an invented thing. If you look at money, for example, does nature use money? Does I don't know, a gorilla, I thought of a gorilla and an apple and an alligator. Sure, a gorilla and an alligator walked into a bar and they both wanted an apple, and one didn't have money and one did have money, and then the alligator was like, well, you need to do this for me in order for me to buy you this apple. It's like, no, the gorilla and the alligator are not actually going to do that in nature, but the reality that we are brought up in and that we function with or play with, that we think we have to succumb to, does. And it's not that that's wrong, and it's not one is wrong and one is right. That would just be more of not your acoustical wavelength. It's more like you can include that reality without shrinking down your acoustical wavelength, without chopping it up, without morphing and torturing yourself into something else, into what will fit into the problems of the world, basically. So when you're being the acoustical wavelength, the acoustical vibration of you, it doesn't really feel like anything. That's why when you go out in nature, it just feels good. It has a certain vibration. You have a sense of peace, calm, kindness, fresh air, all these different things. It doesn't feel like anything, but let's say if you were to go back around your family or into a city, or you're driving, you have to get gas, so you stop at a gas station, you will sense, again, your body's like a soundboard. It will start letting you know, this is what's going on for this person, and this person has problems, and this is a computer, and it feels like this. And so you'll just start to perceive all of these things if you actually just perceive them, like, oh, I perceive havoc in here. I perceive drugs. I perceive anger. I perceive a computer. If you just flip your I feel like this into I perceive, you're going to give you and your body a lot more space to be able to walk into that gas station and still be you, still be the acoustical vibration of you. So I'm curious, what is it going to look like, be like, feel like, taste like what could this year be? If, for at least for me, that's what I'm going to ask for this year. What could it be like for you, whatever your word is? Mine's going to be acoustical. And doing 2 words. Acoustical embodiment. I'm cheating. Why not? But like, what could you ask for this year? Ease, space, acoustical embodiment. Just pick one word that can be like your little hook back word that's going to bring you back to you or your target for the year every time you think about it. Or every time you don't feel like you, when you're like, or you're sick or your eyeballs popping out, what one word can you go to and play with this year that's going to give you more of you, more of the space of you? So if you guys want to, you can write your word down below, or you can let me know if you're going to use acoustical embodiment too, and we can see how it goes. And I hope, how can this year turn out even better than we ever could have imagined? I have Arthur's going to be on here some more. We're going to do some more of the 5 elements of intimacy videos. I think Megan Hill and I are going to do a video next week when we're at Elugar. Oh my God. I'll probably do another video from Elugar, because who doesn't want a video from Elugar? Maybe I'll just let Elugar do the live, or my horse, or whatever. And I think we'll have Monica Gilliam on here soon too, because we have a really big surprise. Oh my God, it's pretty hilarious. I can't wait to show you. But thank you so much for watching, and I'm so excited to be on here more, because I can't see any of you. I can't even see the comments, but yay, it feels good. I sense you. I can perceive you. Yay! Goodbye! Happy 2024!